His real name is Jermaine Johnson. Wasn't there a movie once called, or Jeremiah Johnson? But they call him FunnyMaine because he's considered the poet laureate of Alabama football. We want to talk to FunnyMaine. FunnyMaine, welcome back to our little show. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, Paul. Always good to see you.
So, I mean, I'm trying to think. I know you once worked at Red Lobster. That sounds funny in and of itself. So, did you learn humor trying to serve people popcorn shrimp? What was it?
Yeah, you learn a lot of humor when people are walking past that tank and you're trying to keep their kids away from it, and you're stealing biscuits in between customers, and yeah, you learned a lot of comedy there. But my teachers would probably say, unfortunately, I used the classroom as my first stages.
So, was that your first big job, Red Lobster?
Um, yeah, I think that was my
And
first
my first job was
paycheck.
McDonald's, and I developed a lot of humor trying to cut it at 16 years old at McDonald's, which, by the way, I did not. I didn't last long.
Yeah, well, my family had a lot of jobs that I had to work. I had to, help my dad put shingles on roofs and fix plumbing, and my uncle had a chicken wing restaurant. So I think Red Lobster was my first paycheck, not under the table job for sure.
Well, you are now considered the college football comedian. You've really made a living. By the way, this sounds funny coming from me. You've made a living off of Nick Saban. So let's before before we get to the new guy. I understand you gave Saban some advice recently.
Now, well, I want to give him some advice. Now, Coach DeBoer came in, and I took a picture with him and met him within the first 2 weeks. I've never met Coach Saban. Like, we have no selfies together, anything. But my advice is this: I know he's going to be on the ESPN stage and platforms a lot. So, Coach, if you're watching, pick Bama. Pick Bama a lot. Okay, you got nothing to lose. You left the program in good hands, so you don't have to be fair. Pick Bama. That's my advice.
Hey, that's what I've done the last 17 years, and it's worked.
It's worked. It's worked for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've gone against Alabama once since 2009, and everybody said, "I can't believe you're picking Bama." Hey, your batting average is about 90%, 95%.
It's a safe bet, and I think we're in good hands with the new coaching staff. So it's still a pretty safe bet.
By the way, we need to correct this problem between you and Coach Saban because I think he would find you very funny. He's got a great sense of humor. I know you've heard that before.
Yeah, I have, and I see videos, and he looks like a blast to be around. I don't know how we never, ended up in the same spot. I lived in Tuscaloosa when he first got there. It just never happened. I've been close to him, but not close enough where he would recognize
so
me.
funny man, Saban, funny guy, charismatic. I don't know how to say this, but the new guy doesn't sound like he'd be a good opening act for Funny Man at a comedy club.
Well, you know what? I would love for Coach Debo to open up for me because he's going to give you information. He's going to tell you where your seat is. He's going to get real specific. He doesn't have to be Coach Saban, and that's okay. This man has been a winner everywhere that he's been. I actually like his personality. He's bubbly. It's a little West Coast in there, so we got to country him up a little bit. But he's amazing, man. Everything that I've seen about him, I've been to a few practices, and I watch him on your show and other outlets, and he's amazing.
So funny man, when you do a club, which I know you're doing, you'll be back out and about pretty soon. Take us through the routine because I've interviewed a lot of comedians, and you just can't walk out there and stumble around. You have to. I mean, comedians always tell me. You got to just nail that first joke. So what happens when you're on
Right.
stage?
Well, things have changed, Paul. I've been in comedy about 20 years now, and there used to be a time when you did have to write everything and it had to be precise, but we're in now what's called the crowd work era, where you have to come out and freestyle and think of witty things to say to the audience, like you do with your callers for the past few years. So that's kind of where comedy is right now. That's what people want to see. I think they've got enough of the standard set. They want the crowd work. They want the improv now.
I mean, I used to speak a lot, FunnyMaine, and I always loved when the crowd was hostile. Uh, I mean, because it's like you know more than they do, and they think they got the funniest thing and most cutting.
Right.
So when you get in there and somebody, they know you're an Alabama guy, and you got some Auburn guy in the
Right.
back of the room, or a Georgia guy, or any other. It doesn't matter. I mean, how do you interact once the cat calls start coming?
Yeah. I love it, man. Just like you said, it's a competitive thing. I don't get a lot of cat calls, and I get Tennessee, Georgia, Auburn fans at my shows, and it's all love. We have a good time. Now the internet, oh yeah, they'll let you have it on there where it's a little more safe for them. But even then, I'm kind of like you, Paul. I kind of like when I get up under people's skin for some reason. I don't do it purposely, but when I see that I've done it, I kind of like it. So anybody out there that gets mad in my comments or whatever, just know you're helping me sleep very well at night.
So I mean, how biting do you really want to be, though? You don't know what that guy looks like when he's sitting down watching your show, do you?
Nah, you never do, but he don't know what I look like, in real life.
Well, I know, but you'd probably rather finish your show than have this guy come up here and put a chair over your head.
Right. Thankfully, it's never gotten there. Like I said, at my shows, it's always clean. We're always going to talk about football. We're going to poke fun at each other, but never in a mean-spirited way. And everybody usually leaves my show with a big smile on their face. So we want to keep it that way. No chairs.
So, FunnyMaine, when you're out there, Alabama, Tennessee, you primarily are in the South, but I know you've done shows outside. What's in college football? What's a sure laugh line?
It's a sure laugh line for me and my audience is how I talk about I'm not ready to be the head coach of Alabama. And the reason I say that is because if you win while you're at the university, you get a statue of yourself in front of the stadium. If you give me a statue of myself while I currently work, I'm never coming to work on time. So they'll be like, Coach Johnson, you were late. No, I wouldn't. Look, I'm always here.
So you mentioned the clubs. You do a lot of videos. So I realize comedy is evolving. It's different.
Right.
I don't understand it because I do this. But how does it work when you're sending stuff out? I mean, take us through the methodology of a comedian in the social media world.
For me, with my audience being primarily college football fans, it's easy. We don't have a life. I don't have a life. I wake up, Saturday morning, I'm watching you guys and game day, and I'm watching games all day. And in traffic, I'm, cutting people off that have certain other schools on their tags. I just don't have a life outside of college football. So the content is very relatable to other people that don't have a life. So it's kind of easy for me.
So I want you to help us before you go, because we have a lot of people that call in and they say, "Hey, I got a joke."
Right.
And Randy and I are going, "Oh yeah, right." And you know what happens when somebody tries to tell a joke. So I want you, FunnyMaine. I realize you usually get a big paycheck, and we're just asking you for free, but we'll make it up. We'll send you we'll send you for a week to the Hugh Freeze summer camp next year if you want to go. So
that did not sweeten up the deal at all. I was on board, but now I think my agent is calling, telling me to wrap it up.
Okay. Help make Finebaum callers funnier.
You know what? Your callers have been funny for a long time, man. I've been listening to you since you were on air here in Birmingham, and doing your thing. Paul, you're the perfect guy for what you do. Okay, nobody else could do it. Nobody else wants to do it. Okay, so God has chosen you to be the ringmaster for all of these callers and all these crazy college football fans. And even though people might not agree with you, man, they'll miss you one day because you're awesome. You're perfect for what you do.
Man, I don't know. I know I can't top that, so I'm gonna be like a good comedian, leave the audience laughing.
Yeah, put that in your highlight reel.
Hey, so what's next for you? What's your tour look like? I know you got some dates coming up.
Yeah, you can go to funnymaine.com, check out all of my dates, but I actually have a new job. Yeah, I got a new 9 to 5, so I'll be headed to Memphis.
By the way, I just heard that from a friend in Memphis.
Yeah, so word is getting around. Yeah, I have a position working for the Memphis Shelby County School System in administration. So we're going to do some great things with the great city of Memphis, and a lot of kids up there that are just creative. We got a great superintendent, great staff. So I'll still be locked in doing my football things. Maybe I'll slide over to a few Tiger games, but of course it's always going to be Roll Tide. But we got a great mission with MSCS, and we're going to have fun and get the city of Memphis turned around for the better.
Well, there's a few decent folks that have come out of Memphis, so you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Specifically, Marcus Bell, my man up there, big Memphis guy. Yeah, yeah. And
well,
D, I can't forget about him.
That really wasn't what I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking of the host.
I wanted to steal it from you. But
I always tell people, and people say, "Man, you're like the guy from Memphis." I said, "Well, there are a couple. Elvis lived here, Justin Timberlake, a couple of minor figures before
D'Angelo Williams." Yeah.
See, I'm thinking big entertainment. You're thinking of football players. FunnyMaine.
I'm just shouting out friends. That's all.
Well, when you get there, we'll call you and we'll get into the debate who has better barbecue, Alabama or Memphis. Thank you for dropping by. We've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me, Paul.
Congratulations on your new job. FunnyMaine joining us.
Yes, sir.
Leaving Alabama for Memphis, but he'll still be funny. And Memphis could use some humor right now. We'll take a short break. We're coming right back.